P.S. If Pedro Pascal is playing Mr. Fantastic, I just want to ask, what's he really fantastic at? Cleaning houses or jumping over the border? And if you got a problem, go complain to your boyfriend.
Alright, so this is post-editing Ash here. I just wanted to make sure you guys know about the Discord server, suggest video ideas, let me know what you guys find interesting, do that sort of thing. And yeah, link in the description. If you like any part of today's video, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you do like anything from today, I'm sure you'll like anything else here on the channel. Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I thought it'd be fun to go back and take a look at a subject of ours that we all know too well. The last time we did a video on this guy ended up doing pretty well. Once again, thank you for all the support, but it's almost like these types never really learn, and especially with this character in particular, he seems to want to go on a race-fueled tirade again, this time directed at Pedro Pascal, or Mr. Fantastic as it were, and he seems to want to do so much to the point that he becomes ignorant to what he's actually saying and what's actually going on in this situation. So why exactly are we talking about this guy once again? Well, recently the new trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps came out. A lot of people were raving about it, a lot of people liked it, myself included. I really didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I've been seeing a lot of praise about the situation, and lo and behold, this was just the first video that I saw that was actually bashing the movie for something that was, in his words, woke trash, as is everything else in his catalog, literally.
Trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps, which is a really stupid name by the way, just dropped. And on the internet we've seen some mixed reactions. Some people are loving it and others are justifiably destroying it. So I'm sorry to come in and rain on your parade, but Fantastic Four First Steps looks like total garbage. Nope, this isn't rage bait. I'm not being a contrarian just for the sake of it. I'm just pointing out what I see, and what I see is a steaming hot pile of trash. So very quickly, let's just get into how this movie will undoubtedly suck. So the first major offense with this movie is the gender swapped Silver Surfer. If we jump over here, we see that Fantastic Four casts Ozark star Julia Garner as Silver Surfer in gender swapped role that upsets fans. The character of Shala Bal, who nobody heard of and nobody really cares about, reportedly appears as the Silver Surfer in the comics, set in an alternate reality. That's the key phrase right there, alternate reality. It's almost like an excuse that these people use to gender swap and race swap every single thing they can get their hands on. It's not for the good of the story or the fact that it is an alternate reality. You're just doing it because you want to. And my response is this.
Oh my god, he gave us the middle finger, whatever will we do? So if any of you guys out there watching right now are familiar with the first video that we did covering this guy, that entire video was all about his racist rant or his racist reaction to an alternate version of Barbara Gordon, who was originally a redhead. And in that video, the concept of an alternate reality or an alternate version or an elseworld seemed to really escape this guy, so much so to the point where he just kind of ignored the point completely and started talking about the character in question, Batman, like he was the mainline Batman when he wasn't. So I guess this mozzarella stick that he's holding up in front of the camera is his response to that whole situation, or his response to people saying in his comments that, hey, this is an alternate version of the character, you don't need to get so mad and start pissing your pants. I mean, well, he really doesn't. Even some of his comments are saying, hey, why are you getting so mad? or this one, just go touch some grass, bro. Now, I will say this though. While there could have been a better casting for someone like Silver Surfer, me personally, I would have rather had a male Silver Surfer. That's simply because that's what I'm used to. I'm not going to sit here and shake the fact that this woman might actually do a good job at playing Silver Surfer. You know what I'm saying? If she's able to portray the character properly, then really, who cares? You say that when people say, hey, this is an alternate version of the character or an alternate universe, that's an excuse. Buddy, that's just the explanation. Like, that's what's happening. It's another version of the character. And I'm going to echo something similar to what I said last time, but it really isn't that deep, dude. I mean, like, this guy's taking it as a personal insult that an Elseworld story doesn't have the exact same characters in it. I mean, why on earth would they even bother making a movie that's set not in the MCU, or rather not in the main universe of the MCU, if they were just going to make everything the same? In my personal opinion, I feel like the Fantastic Four, or at least this Fantastic Four, should have been in the main universe just because of all the team ups that could happen. It could be really cool. But at the same time, with this movie being, I believe, set in the 60s, it kind of gives like a Jetsons Futurama type of vibe. I don't know. It just kind of seems cool to me. And it seems cool to a bunch of other people who watch the trailer. But we're already not even halfway through this video and it just keeps getting worse.
Not comment, don't come at me saying it's an alternate universe. How do you not know that? I know that. I just don't care. I don't care if it's a super wormhole, alternate, different planet where everybody has to be race swapped and gender swapped. The people who do this aren't doing it for the sake of it's an alternate reality. They're doing it because they're mentally ill psychos in real life. Speaking of which, we see who's directing the movie, Matt Shakman. Now, I haven't heard of him. He probably directed some crappy film, but reportedly he added Julia Garner to the cast. So it was his decision, basically. And just from looking him up on Wikipedia, we do see that he is of a certain religious or ethnic background. And that leads me into our next point. So you have the Thing in this new Fantastic Four movie. He's probably one of the only good looking parts about the film. Yes, it is CGI, but they're getting the look of the Thing way better and way more accurate to the comics. Saying that is where the comic accuracy really does stop. So the Thing is a famously Jewish character. So of course, to be accurate, they brought in a Jewish actor to play the role. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, then we get to kind of, the leader of the team, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, the white guy, and he's being played by Pedro Pascal. It's in his name. Amigo, sorry to break it to you, but you're not Reed Richards. I don't care if you really like the character or if you play him well, you're not him. So let's just get a quick summary. So the Jewish character is played by the Jewish guy because we're being so accurate, but the normal white guy, Reed Richards, we can't get just any old normal white actor. We have to bring in Pedro Pascal, where everything he touches turns to woke. The Last of Us, a game series that already sucked crap, was adapted into a TV show, and Pedro Pascal, our main Mexican man, got to come in and play Joel, a character who was also white. It's like his job to come in and take a normal white character and just turn him Mexican. Who'll know the difference? A lot of people will, because you're nowhere near Reed Richards.
Alright, holy crap, oh my god. Like I told you before, man, it gets a lot worse than this. But a couple of things to address right off the bat. First off, I will not tolerate this Last of Us slander, okay? This guy did the same thing with Spawn before in the last video and I called it out, but I'm not going to tolerate Last of Us slander in this one either. Game of the Year 2020, just about 4 million sales the first week it came out, and has over 37 million copies sold worldwide. Just saying. It's not bad. And I'm not gonna lie, the mariachi in the back is crazy, especially considering Pedro Pascal isn't even Mexican. This guy's from Chile. Now, I will add another thing onto this whole Pedro Pascal thing. I originally didn't really like the casting choice for Mr. Fantastic. I originally thought when, I heard that they were going to make a new Fantastic Four movie, they were going to cast another white Reed Richards, which I had no problem with. I would love to see the reaction on this guy's face if they originally casted Reed Richards to be a redhead and then just made him black instead. That would be so funny. Don't get me wrong, it probably would have been a horrible choice, but at the same time, just for this sake, it would have been hilarious. Anyways, I did think that they were going to cast another white Reed Richards, which I had no problem with, but as soon as I found out that it was Pedro Pascal, I didn't really know too much about Pedro Pascal, really. I didn't really think it was going to be a good choice. I didn't know if he was a good actor or not. And on top of that, the mustache, man, the mustache is kind of what's really killing me. I would at least want him to kind of resemble the Reed Richards of the comics, at least, shave the mustache, get some more gray in there. But at the same time, now that the trailer's coming out, I really don't care, man. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to go on some racist Mexican tirade just because he's not Reed Richards from the comic. And just for those of you who aren't really into comics like that, both the MCU and Marvel Comics, which are two different universes, by the way, both have an infinite number of realities and universes within the multiverse that, at least in Marvel Comics, has been explored a number of times. So even though Pedro Pascal isn't Mexican, there very well could be, and probably is, a Mexican version of the Fantastic Four, one where Johnny and Susan Storm got hit with the chancla as a kid. Hell, man, Franklin Richards is probably getting hit with the chancla. And I don't even want to imagine what the Mexican version of the Thing is going to be saying. Shout out to all my Latin folks that watch the channel, by the way. You guys are awesome. Ranting for Vengeance here starts speaking about Pedro Pascal's touching habit. Like when he gets anxious, he starts to, hug on Vanessa Kirby or leans her head on her shoulder or whatever. I'm not going to lie. I don't really think I can defend that. I do think it's kind of weird. At the same time, if she's okay with it and this is like consensual, I'm saying, like, it's not really like something that he forced upon her or whatever. It's just kind of like one of those weird things that you kind of have to accept. It's a whatever. I remember when those pictures and videos started to come out too. I thought it was weird at the same time, just like I do now, but it's not like I'm going to do anything about it.
Past this office, she was the best person for the role. No, she wasn't. You're telling me you couldn't have gotten a badass bald dude to come in and play the Silver Surfer, a character that's literally been around for 60 years. But nope, you decide to bring in the alternate universe female version and you cast this girl because she was the best for the role. I don't think so. And the funny part is, even if you take away all the political stuff, the film just doesn't look good. This is supposed to be the first steps, the beginnings to a new Marvel universe. And it just looks mediocre. If you take any other superhero movie from, I don't know, 10 years ago, they're already way more impactful and just way better. Batman 89 will forever be iconic and stick around for years and years. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is one of the best superhero things to exist. Fantastic Four First Steps is just not gonna cut it. I don't care if Galactus shows up, if they're bringing in comic accuracy, which I'll get to in a second. To be perfectly honest, this film just doesn't look good. Doesn't look like some groundbreaking thing that people are going to be watching over and over again for the next 20 years. It might come out and for 6 months you'll have these cucks praising it as some masterpiece, but then it's just going to be forgotten, like most new movies that nobody actually cares about. Now to the comic accuracy, people are losing their mind going, oh, they gave Ben Grimm a trench coat, oh, they have the original blue suits. Well, in that department you're entirely incorrect. So let's just have a look at these comic accurate suits and let's see how accurate they really are. So here we have the insanely comic accurate Fantastic Four First Steps costumes. And here we have the original real comic accurate costumes. What on earth are these people smoking? How does a Mexican Reed Richards and a comic inaccurate costume and a gender swapped Silver Surfer correlate to some comic accurate masterpiece? I have the answer. It doesn't. Can people just stop hyping up these movies as if they're going to be the next Iron Man or Spider-Man?
I mean, it's like the guy keeps saying alternate universe, alternate universe, alternate universe. Like, it's not registering in his brain that this is an alternate. Do you know what the definition of the words you're saying, dude? Now, a few notes about how the movie looks from my perspective, at least. I think that the movie looks good. It definitely has potential to be a really, really good movie. I will say this, though. If they don't do Human Torch right, then the movie kind of just fails. I'm exaggerating, but like, you know, kind of not. Johnny Storm is the life of the team. No doubt my favorite character. That's why he's my profile picture. And in my mind, Chris Evans' version of the character will probably forever be the best version, but I'm not counting this version of Human Torch out either. Now, when it comes to Ben Grimm, the Thing, okay, I don't think I've ever seen a more comic accurate version of the character, like from the facial features to his trench coat, right? Which is something that he touched on in the video. The only things that I've been hearing about Ben in a negative context is the suit. But, you know, I definitely agree. I wish that it didn't really look like a sweater when it was put on the Thing, or at least just like, you know, give him pants and that's it. And the other thing that I wanted to change about the Thing, maybe it'll change in the movie, or I don't know if they're ever going to change it, but I feel like his voice should be a little bit more heavier, a little bit more rockier, if you catch my drift. But they even got his head shape right to how I see it in the comic book sometimes. And I feel like small details like that are definitely to be appreciated when it comes to characters like the Thing. But then that's when we come back to the suits, and this is where I don't really understand the point that he's trying to make. He ends up showing a version of the Fantastic Four with She-Hulk instead of the Thing, back when she was on the team for a little while. And the suits that they're all wearing are almost identical to the suits that they show in the movie, maybe even taking inspiration from those suits exactly. So I don't really understand what point he's trying to make. He was talking about comic accuracy, but then just shows the comic that the suits are probably based off of. Like what? And you know, guys, you might even get tired of me saying it, but it's just kind of like most of his points could be resolved by just saying these simple words. It's an alternate universe, okay? When the Ultimate Universe has a Tony Stark that has a different Iron Man suit that he uses for his main suit versus the 616 version, nobody bats an eye. Maybe this is because Tony has a bunch of different armors, and maybe it's more acceptable that he might have an armor that's similar to the Ultimate versions. Okay, well, what about someone like Wolverine, who did just get a new suit and a new origin, but he's not someone that's known for having a lot of suits? What are you going to say about that? It's the exact same thing that's happening with the Fantastic Four. They're in another universe. This isn't 616 or the main MCU. They're allowed to have different costumes. They're allowed to be different types of people that are different from the characters from the pages. It's really not that hard to understand. And, you know, you'd figure that the guy that's had more than 10 videos made on him on his previous video would have learned by now, maybe to just, you know, accept things as they are, or to really just not get so mad about this stuff when it's literally just fiction. But I guess not.
Prize, this movie is gonna suck. I'm not going to be watching it, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will be doing the same. And for the people who are going to consume every second of this and love it, I genuinely think that you do not have a place anywhere near comic books. Oh yeah, and P.S. if Pedro Pascal is playing Mr. Fantastic, I just want to ask, what's he really fantastic at? Cleaning houses or jumping over the border? And if you got a problem, go complain to your boyfriend.
Now that ending was crazy, bro. What is this symbol right here on the screen? Kill a commie for mommy? What is this guy talking about? But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. Send me more recommendations on who I should check out next, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.